Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, stepping outside your home, and instead of walking to school, work, or the store, you spread your arms, leap into the air, and soar through the skies like a bird. No cars, no buses, no waiting in traffic, just the wind against your face, the rooftops shrinking beneath you, and the endless freedom of the open sky. Sounds amazing, right? But let's slow down. What would really happen if humans suddenly had the power to fly? Would it make our world a paradise or a complete disaster? Today, we're going to dive deep into this mind-bending scenario: the science, the society, the dangers, and the wonders of a flying humanity. Buckle up, well, maybe don't, since you won't need seatbelts anymore, because this is going to change everything you thought you knew about human life. 1. The end of roads. The first and most obvious change: transportation. Cars, outdated. Trains, less important. Even airplanes might become obsolete. Why spend hours stuck in traffic or waiting at an airport gate when you could just launch yourself into the sky and get there on your own? Cities would begin to transform overnight. Imagine skyscrapers with landing pads halfway up, houses with sky porches. No one needs driveways anymore. And sidewalks? They'd become secondary, reserved for those few who can't or won't take to the skies. But here's the catch: our airspace would get crowded, really crowded. If millions of people could fly, you can bet governments would step in fast. Forget speed limits on highways, we'd have flight lanes in the sky. Human air traffic controllers, fines for reckless flying. Imagine being pulled over, but in midair. 2. A new social hierarchy. Now let's think about how this changes society. Not everyone would fly the same way. Some people might be fast, others could only hover slowly. Some might fly high into the clouds while others barely lift off the ground. This would create new divisions like the rich and poor today, but based on how strong your flight ability is. Think about it: companies could hire only the fastest flyers. Schools might rank students by flight endurance. Dating profiles might even say, can reach 5,000 feet without breaking a sweat. Of course, there would also be a wave of new jobs: aerial couriers, human air taxis, sky rescue teams. Entire industries would appear overnight. In sports, forget basketball, imagine aerial dodgeball, cloud racing, or high-speed sky wrestling. The Olympics would never be the same. 3. Nature versus humans in the sky. Sounds fun so far, but let's be real, nature wouldn't make it easy. Flying humans would face the same dangers as birds: winds, storms, and predators. That gentle breeze you enjoy on the ground, at 200 feet up, it could blow you into a building. Rainstorms would ground entire cities. Lightning? Deadly. And don't forget birds themselves, they might not be too happy about millions of humans invading their airspace. Then there's the issue of energy. Flying takes an enormous amount of effort. Birds eat constantly to fuel their wings. Humans would burn through calories like never before. That means bigger meals, specialized diets, and maybe even new types of food just for flyers. Supermarkets would sell flight fuel bars instead of protein shakes. 4. Health and evolution. But flying isn't just about food, it would reshape our bodies. Think about the muscles you'd need: a strong chest for powerful wing strokes, a more efficient respiratory system to breathe at higher altitudes, lighter bones, stronger balance, maybe even an evolved inner ear to handle 3D movement. Over generations, humanity itself might split into two versions: those who fly often and those who stay grounded. Flying also means new risks to health: mid-air collisions, falls from hundreds of feet, long-term damage to joints and muscles. Insurance companies would need entirely new categories: broken wing sprain coverage, or fall from the cloud accident policy. But one huge benefit: our fear of heights would vanish. The skyline wouldn't intimidate us, it would invite us. Humans would finally live in the vertical dimension, not just the horizontal. 5. Politics, borders, and freedom. Here's where it gets tricky. If people can fly, borders become meaningless. Walls, fences, guarded checkpoints, they're useless. Why walk through customs when you can just fly over it? Governments would scramble to create new systems of control. Maybe radar systems to track flyers. Maybe entire no-fly zones over sensitive areas. Military defense would change. 2 armies of flying soldiers would dominate the skies. Wars might no longer be fought in trenches, but in midair swarms, like giant flocks of deadly birds. On the flip side, flying would also give people unprecedented freedom. Want to escape a bad situation? Just take off. Want to explore a mountain, an island, or a desert? No roads needed. The dream of human independence would finally be real, but it might scare those in power. 6. Cities of the sky. So what would the world actually look like? Picture this: floating platforms suspended above cities like giant aerial villages, restaurants with open-air dining thousands of feet high, schools with classrooms built into the sides of cliffs. Instead of suburbs spreading outward, humanity might build upward, layer upon layer of flying communities stacked above the earth. Sky gardens, cloud markets, aerial festivals where people dance in the air. But the ground wouldn't be abandoned. Farms, factories, and those who can't fly would stay rooted. In fact, that might create a whole new divide: the sky class and the ground class. Would flyers look down on walkers literally and socially? 7. the dark side of flight. Of course, not everything would be magical. Crime would adapt instantly. Imagine thieves swooping down from rooftops, vanishing into the clouds with stolen goods. Police would need jetpacks just to keep up. Privacy would disappear too. With millions of eyes in the sky, your backyard isn't private anymore, it's a tourist attraction from above. And accidents? Terrifying. With no seatbelts, no parachutes, a single mistake could mean death. Hospitals would be overwhelmed with flight injuries. Even the environment might suffer. Billions of humans in the skies could disrupt bird migration patterns, spread noise pollution, and cause chaos in ecosystems that rely on open skies. 8. The spiritual side. But let's end on something bigger, something deeper. Humans have always dreamed of flying. From Icarus in Greek mythology to Leonardo da Vinci's sketches, to the Wright brothers, it's been our ultimate symbol of freedom. If one day we could all take off and soar into the heavens, it wouldn't just change our world physically, it would change us spiritually. We'd look at Earth differently. From above, borders don't matter. Cities blur into landscapes. The planet feels smaller, more connected, more fragile. Maybe flying would finally make us realize how precious our world is, and how connected we all are under the same sky. So, what would happen if humans could fly? Our cities would transform, our societies would reorganize, our bodies would adapt, and our politics would be shaken to the core. It would be a world of endless freedom, but also endless new challenges. Maybe that's why, for now, we dream of flight instead of living it, because the skies might not be ready for us, and maybe, just maybe, we're not ready for the skies. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through imagination, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. If you could fly, where's the very first place you'd go?